G'day viewers, my name's Graham Stevenson and I'd like to invite you to come on a journey of creativity and learning and adventure through the series Colour in Your Life. There's an artist in every family throughout the world. And lots of times there's an artist deep down inside all of us as well. So grab your kids, your brothers, your sisters, your aunties, uncles and mums and dads and come and see how some of the best artists in Australia do what they do. Well, hi guys, and welcome back to Colour in Your Life. Well, we're up in Greenbank in Queensland today with a magnificent wildlife artist, that's the best way I can put it, Sandra Temple. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Graham.
Fantastic being here. Now, this lady is also the president of the Queensland Wildlife Artists Society, and you're also the founder of the Queensland Body Painting Association as well.
Body artist.
Body artist, but very impressive credentials and also an internationally award-winning artist as well. And we're going to talk about that as we go through the show today. With all the things that you've done in your life, what brought you to wildlife art anyway?
I've always painted wildlife. I've always painted animals. I started with pet portraits and now I do endangered species.
And it's fantastic. I mean, her work really is amazing. And the thing about Sandra's work is she uses a number of different mediums. I mean, some of the stuff that you're combining is stuff that I haven't seen before as well. So it's going to be quite fascinating. But let's get stuck into the picture. We're going to be doing a painting of cygnets. They're black swan babies.
Yes.
Correct? Mm-hmm. And Sandra's going to take us through the process of putting all this together with all of the stuff that she actually uses. And I'm going to talk to her more about her career and her history, which is quite fascinating. But let's get stuck into that and we'll see what we can't do with these little baby birds.
Okay.
Okay, Sandra, well, I can see that you've actually drawn out your cygnets on that piece of paper there. And what do you do from here? I mean, you've got some hexagonal graphite.
What I do is I scribble on the back. I've put pen on here so that I know which of my drawing marks I need, and then I'll transfer it over.
Okay.
So this is just a lump of graphite. I think it's about a 8H or something like that.
Is it?
Yeah, much quicker than a pencil.
Oh, absolutely.
So the reason why I do this is because if I've spent a day getting my drawing accurate, I don't want to lose all of that detail once I transfer and start colouring in.
Yeah. And do you do this with all your work?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay.
The reason for that is that if I want to do a bigger one, I've already drawn it up and I can just enlarge it and transfer it onto a bigger canvas.
It's fantastic.
That's the theory anyway.
Voila.
Here we go. So I've got 2H, which is a hard pencil. I'm just going to go over these pen lines here and transfer the details. I just flick it on one side so that I can check if I've missed anything.
Yep.
Usually at the end I'll turn it over and there'll be a gap somewhere.
Funnily enough, you've been influenced by some of the exact same men that have influenced me. But people like Carl Brendas, he's an amazing super realist. And then Robert Bateman, that's just a magnificent artist.
I used to spend a lot of time getting out the books from the library. Carl Brendas had a really nice book, and every time I took it back into the library, it would be missing. And I found out later in the years that one of my students took it out. So we spent alternate times taking the same book out.
That's amazing. Yes, his work was quite incredible.
Yeah.
So how long have you been the president of the Queensland Wildlife Artists Society?
More than 15 years.
Wow. So if anybody wanted to get in touch with the Queensland Wildlife Artists Society, what's their website?
It's www.qldwildlifeartists.com.
It's an important part, just apart from the fact that you're involved in learning how to paint the beautiful creatures across the world. But there's a great sense of preservation and support that you guys give a lot of these endangered species groups across the world as well with what you're doing.
That's right. We work a lot with wildlife and conservation groups, donating prints and originals to help them with the fundraising.
Now, the fact that you do work a lot in mixed media as well, there's a whole bunch of different things that you use, and you also use airbrush. There's one picture I'd like to talk about right now, which is about an orangutan, and that was for the Orangutan Society for Preservation of the Orangutans.
Yes, the Australian Orangutan Project.
The picture called Going, Gone, unfortunately, which is true. You've done that with airbrush and acrylics as well.
Yes, so a lot of times I do the bigger paintings undercoated with airbrush, makes it much quicker.
Yeah. Well, you've been on and in a number of magazines across the world, I mean Canada, the States, but you ended up being voted Artist of the Year through the Wildscape magazine in the UK. I think that's very impressive. When did that come about?
That was a couple of years ago, and I won the professional category, and the following year I won runner-up.
Very, very impressive credentials, particularly when people from other countries, other magazines are recognising the ability that you've got way down in Australia. That's great. Now, part of the credentials or the pre-qualifications of being in the Queensland Wildlife Artists Society is that you really have to take your own photos and also study, which you do, skins, really looking at the true side of wildlife art, which is really studying the animal.
I don't paint anything that I haven't studied myself, so I go to zoos and wildlife parks, museums for skins, and generally it's a tax-exempt holiday.
You can't live your life any better than that, can you?
No, it's a good life.
Yeah.
So there we are, we've got our undercoat done.
Excellent.
And our messy graphite is going to be folded in half so that we don't make too much mess.
There you go.
And I will get a little bit of my kneadable eraser and hopefully not knock all of the pencil off now. A little sausage.
Just enough to soften it down.
Just to lift off some of the loose bits.
Oh, there you go.
If I press very hard, this kneadable eraser will lift off all of the graphite.
Okay, well that's a first. I've never actually seen anybody do that.
A white eraser will rub out and
Yep.
this will lift off. So I've got sky blue pit pen here, and it's a jumbo, but it still has a nice point. I like these as undercoats because the ink itself is permanent. So whatever I put over the top of it, it's going to stay there.
And it is an ink.
It is an ink, yeah,
Okay.
it's an artist ink.
And also you have a piece called Swan Lake, which is obviously once again of signet that the Count and Countess of Faber-Castell own, which is amazing, and the Queensland Ballet Company buys a lot of these images for their cards on that one particular
Yes,
piece.
yeah, they buy the cards for the name really, they're just swans, they're not ballet, but they're thank you cards because they're blank inside.
Oh, that's fantastic, isn't it? Plus the fact that the Count and Countess own the original is pretty amazing.
They own a couple of mine, yes.
That's wonderful. I mean, even using the Faber-Castell pens and pencils that you use, for the 250th anniversary of Faber-Castell, we won the Best of Show, which was a magnificent box. I'm very envious when I saw it, which was a limited edition box of all of the Faber-Castell pencils. It looks fantastic.
It's a lovely box, it's beautiful. Okay, I'm going to start on the next colour, and I'll use a medium grey, and that's the pit pen here. So again, this is a 232. I don't usually go on the numbers, some people do. The good thing about these pens is you can do one layer and they'll go dark, and then you do another layer and they'll go even darker.
You've got such a wide variety of animals that you do, but there's a picture that you've got which I think is just beautiful. It's called King of the Castle, and it's of a lace monitor. And once again in this you've used airbrush, the pit pens, coloured pencils, the whole thing. I mean, it's just an absolute mixed media piece.
That's right. And the easiest part was the scales.
Oh, was it? You'd think that'd be the hardest.
No, it's basically cross-hatching and then covering it up. But it took a long time and a lot of pencils.
Yeah, I bet, but it's a beautiful
oversized.
piece. Beautiful piece of work. There's one picture that's called The Hangover, and it's a leopard, and it's sitting in I think it's a marsala tree.
That's right, masala tree, where they make the alcohol from.
Yeah, that's a fantastic piece. It's just a beautiful painting. With getting your references, you do spend a lot of time at zoos and parks and people that, you know, animal carers as well.
We don't have a Queensland zoo as such, so a lot of times I go to New Zealand or interstate. South Australia has a good one. Adelaide Zoo's brilliant, and Dubbo Zoo, of course. That's the main ones that I go to. Australia Zoo has some things, but they're a little bit less likely to let you go and walk around closely to them and get photos.
Now, you teach, you run workshops, got some fantastic students, but part of your philosophy with teaching them is that you really mostly just teach them techniques. It's not a matter of taking them through an aspect of one piece. You show them varying techniques to help them out with their work.
That's right. I teach them to paint like them. It's hard to teach them in a class like I do with all the different levels and different subjects, but it makes it easier for them. So I want them to be able to go home and paint on their own, do a really good job themselves. So you can see that I've done all of the grey now, and it's time to change mediums, get rid of the pip pens and get the colour pencils. Okay. This is my travelling set and holds 120 pencils. Okay. First of all, I'm just going to hit up a little bit more of the blue in the picture. So just add a little bit more into some of this here in the lighter areas.
So you find that the coloured pencil rides easily over?
Yes, it does. It's got a nice texture to this paper. It also works really good over the top of airbrushed ink as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's amazing the effect, just combining the pits and these, that it turns out to really begin to look like paint, doesn't it?
You can make colour pencil look like a painting.
Yeah.
Why it's become popular for art exhibitions now. It used to be frowned upon. Like, this is a colour pencil like a kid's picture. Only now it's more professional.
It's not. But the end result that you can get, you can obviously see as we've looked through your work,
Yep.
The extraordinary pictures that you can create. There's one there that you've used, which I thought it was a really, really great piece. It was called After the Ride, and that's with airbrush and coloured pencil as well. It's a dry as a bone and an old saddle and a pair of boots. It looks fantastic.
It was a workshop on airbrushing with masking.
And there's another one as well. You said it took you a year and a half just to get the reference material, and it's called Secrets in the Shadows. It's an award-winning piece for you, and it's of platypus. I can understand because you don't normally see them out of the water, do you?
No, and when you can photograph them, it's early morning and late evening, so photographs don't come out very well. Now what I'm doing here is I'm burnishing the whole thing, pressing very hard with my white pencil so that I get a layer of white. The burnishing forces all the undercolours to sit together, so it's like layers on the computer where you have different layers and you smoosh them together. But you can see here it looks a lot smoother than down here. This is all choppy, and as it goes through it acts like the surface of the water reflecting all the different colours underneath.
And it's really like it's sort of fading or out focusing the colours in the back.
You can do it to shade, like fog out the back.
Yes.
Another way is with the airbrush, of course.
So these are some of the techniques that you teach in your workshops and classes.
That's right.
So, okay, well, I think this is fascinating. I've actually never seen this done before myself, and I've seen a lot of stuff since I've started this show. But so, your website address, what is that?
It's www.sandratemple.com.
So, guys, this is fascinating. I think this is just great, and it's one of those things where you go, I want to go home and try it. But you can see that the silver effect in the water starting to come through.
It's coming through. It's giving you the smoothness of a mirror surface.
It's great, isn't it?
We start off really fast and we end up really slow.
Yeah.
So you can see so far it's not been difficult to do. It's just step by steps. The most important part is the accurate drawing at the beginning.
Yeah. And you were telling me on the property that you have up here, you've said you've got peregrine falcons in the area as well, and we've got a picture there of a peregrine falcon that you've done, and you've named it Mine. And once again, that's with airbrush and coloured pencil. It's actually clutching a dead catbird, but You know, these are a lot of the animals that you get around your own property as well.
Yes, I'm lucky that I can research and find a lot of the birds and animals around here. It makes it a good place to live. Well, that's all the white burnishing finishing. So let's put that in there, and I will get rid of that one. Fold it in half. You can see all the graphite on here. It's really delicious. And I'll put my reference photo up. That's the one I did my sketch from. Usually I use 3 or 4 different photos, but this time the photo that I took was fine. So we'll use Van Dyke brown here. I'm just going to get some of the darker browns into the water so that it's not too blue and purple.
This is really where your contrasting starts to come in.
It is, and the pencil will now go on smoothly because it's got a flat surface to work on.
And that's because of the burnishing's really pushed everything into the paper.
Yes.
You were saying some pencil manufacturers have 800 of different varieties of pencil.
So the Faber-Castells have 120 colours in their range, and the same numbers go through all of their paint and dry mediums. The Pitt pen that's numbered the same as this, 172, will be the same pigment as this one, and the pastels and the pastel pencils.
Oh, there you go, okay, so they're all perfectly matched up.
Yes, so excellent for mixed medium.
And you actually work pretty closely with Faber-Castell, don't you?
I use a lot of their products. I sometimes do testing of new products for them as well.
So I think one of the great things about watching you work today is that, unlike paint, there's drying times.
Yeah.
And you can really put all of this down and get the effect that you want in
straight
half
away.
the time. Yeah.
Yep. And this is still the undercoat because the gouache goes on. Okay, I've done enough of the pencil just to give you an idea through here of the colours that are being added. So now I'm going to get out the gouache. So I use a glass palette. It's just easy to clean. My favourite colours, burnt umber and Prussian blue. The good thing about gouache, it can stay on the palette till I finished or do the next picture with it.
You're also working with Wildlife for Conservation in Canada as well.
That's
doing a lot of stuff with them. Can you explain a bit more of that to me?
So the Artists for Conservation is a group of a couple of hundred worldwide international artists, and we work with conservation groups and raise money and awareness through our art for their different projects. I tend to work with the Australian Orangutan Project and the Koala Action Group, the local one.
I mean, these are people that, you know, if you're in Canada, they paint the polar bears, or if you're in somewhere else, they...
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can decide if you want to donate funds to Worldwide Fund for Nature, or you can work with Save the Tigers or the Sheldick Elephants, all of that. I prefer local.
Now, the white that you've just put over there, that's just the gouache, again, as a base for other colours that you're going to put on top once again?
Yeah, it's an undercoat over the pencil so that the other gouache will grip. The pencil is a slight wax to it, so it beads slightly, but if you agitate the paper a little bit, it'll stick on really well.
So you're exhibiting in the Old Schoolhouse Gallery in Cleveland. Great little gallery, it's been there for quite some time, hasn't it?
Yes, it's a heritage listed building, and it's an old schoolhouse obviously, and it's got a really good feel. It's got 4 or 5 different galleries in it, and it's co-op, so if you've got work in, you have to work there. Well, being the multi-talented and multifaceted woman that you are, you've also produced a number of kids' books. I mean, you said at one stage you had done a lot of adult drawing books years ago, and now they're all in vogue and in fashion these days. You might have started a trend. I was before my time. Okay, I'm just going to put in a little bit of detail here so you can see it, starting with the eyes and the beak. I start with the dark colours first because they're easy to lift off and blend in. It also gives you an idea on how the middle tones will work once you've got the darks in. A really good thing about gouache, as I said, is you can lift it off and blend it in. So what I can do here, I've put on the darks quite strongly, and I don't need it that strong in some places, so all I'll do is I'll just bring it across, fade it in, blend the edges, and I can lift off some areas too to make it lighter. And I can use some of this, pick up some of this colour as well and use it in some of these shadows in the feathers underneath. It's really good because you can put dark on light and light on dark, so you go backwards and forwards, lots of layers. My favourite dark colour is burnt umber and Prussian blue. This one's got a little bit of violet in it as well, just to warm it up a little.
So with all the wildlife that you do just on the 2D side of things, you probably put some of this wildlife into that other wildlife that you have about painting people's bodies. Would that be correct?
Yes, quite often they turn into animals, or they wear animals, but a lot of them are characters, so cos painting with costuming and painting. It's my R&R.
Yeah. Okay, with all the work that you've done over the years, and internationally award-winning artists, people from corporate positions have your work, clients, investors all over the world, what do you feel makes a good painting? I mean, why have they bought your work in comparison to, say, somebody else's?
That's a good question, Graham. I would say it's connection. Painting-wise, or artistically, I'd say it's the light and shade. So shadows are very important, but someone's going to not buy a painting if it doesn't connect to their heart. So if you put passion into your painting, I think that someone will see that and respond.
Okay, Sandra, well, this has been fantastic today. I can see that you've still got a lot to do. But as you can see through the beauty of television, we've screened up the last little bit. I mean, there was still a lot of work that you had to do, but wonderful techniques. I mean, stuff that I haven't known myself today, which has just been fabulous, but that's just incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Graham.
Well, fantastic day, Sandra.
Thank you.
That was wonderful, it really was. I mean, as you can see, once again, techniques, I hadn't ever seen these techniques myself today, and I thought that was really fascinating what you did. It's just to see what the pencils did was just amazing. These also are some of the beautiful books that Sandra's actually been in, international artists' books right across the world. Some of the best wildlife artists on the planet are in these books, so very, very impressive. And you've actually been in quite a few of these, haven't you?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Fantastic techniques. Now, website,
sandratemple.com. Very easy to remember.
Makes it easy as well. And if you want us to buy a lot of the work, we've got a fantastic shop in Colour in Your Life these days, colouryourlife.com.au. Come in and have a look, because we've got a store full of some of the most amazing artwork that you've ever seen. And come in and browse. I mean, prices that will just absolutely blow you away, and incredibly talented people as well. But it's been a wonderful day, wonderful techniques. Facebook as well. Don't forget to come and like us as Facebook as well. But we're going to head off, colouryourlife.com.au. Don't forget that. And until we see you guys again, remember, make sure you put some colour in your life. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye now.